Welcome to the Winning Edge Investments Podcast. Winning Edge Investments provides industry-leading horse racing and sports betting tips, ratings and education, enabling you to invest intelligently and treat your betting like a business. Go to www.winningedgeinvestments.com to learn more about how you can start to supercharge your betting bank immediately. Treat your betting like a business and invest intelligently with Winning Edge Investments.
WinningEdgeInvestments.com, tips, ratings and betting education for racing and sports. Always great to catch up with Dean Evans from Winning Edge Investments on a Friday. Hello to you, Dino.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you?
Good, thank you, mate. We're at Benalla today. You don't have a tip for us in the Benalla Gold Cup, do you?
I haven't looked too closely, but
No.
where there's smoke, there's fire, and Plymouth was pretty well backed last start.
Yes.
And you might appreciate that step up to 2,000, so it does look sort of a class horse there for the Hayes stable. So if they had to have one, I think Plymouth could be hard to beat.
All right, mate, let's have a look at the feature races here across the weekend as we go through them with you. We'll start with the Manikato. We're going to get $3 after 8 o'clock with Bet365 for Lady Shenandoah. She's going to be the Bet Boost horse. She's currently $2.30. Barrakill at $5, Alabama Lass at $6, and then Magic Time at $7.50, Skybird at $8. Who do you like in this year's Manikato, mate?
Well, 10 winners in the last 14 years have come from barriers 1 to 5, and then 4 from barriers 6 to 10, but 3 of those were leaders. So horses sort of settling midfield to back and drawing wide have a really poor record, with Lady Shenandoah drawing barrier 10. That's a real negative. There's also been 9 winners over 1,200 metre run at the last start, only 3 off the 1,000 metres, and mostly coming off the Moira, but Magic Time's coming off a really impressive 1,200 metre run. We've had 5 leaders win, which really suits Alabama Lass, who looks like she's going to get a soft lead here. And looking on my database, peak distance rating of 110 plus has had 13 of the 14 winners, and Lady Shenandoah only rates 107, while Magic Time's 112 and Alabama Lass is 110. So I think the map's really messy for Lady Shenandoah here. You know, I've got a sort of potentially 4 wide, no cover, so he's going to have to do something in there to figure out where he's going to go. Alabama Lass gets a soft lead, Magic Time 3 back the fence on the rails, and so I'm against both Magic Time and Barrakill, sort of setting the death seat here, and I'm going with Magic Time, who I just think was really impressive, winning the Cockram over 1,200, which is a really good lead up for this. Beat Miss Rumbini, who's flying. She's a multiple Group 1 winner over 1,400. Just profiles really nicely for this Magic Time, and I think the danger is Alabama Lass with that soft lead and an average tempo, and I think at the prices, both Magic Time and Alabama Lass can be backed, and taking a set against Lady Shenandoah and Barrakill.
There you go, $6 or $7.50 for Magic Time and $6 there for Alabama Lass. Let's have a look at the Stutt Stakes now. You got O2 Good 320, bounding at $4. Just Feeling Lucky at $6.50, and Splashback is at $6.50.
The Stutt Stakes is actually the 3-year-olds. This is Vinrock and West of Swindon.
Okay, sorry, that was the Stock Stakes. We'll go to. Sorry, I've got a cold, and sometimes my throat's going.
I can help you out.
Vinrock's at $1.75. Go, mate.
I think there's quite a strong speed here. A lot of horses that like to push up. Sort of got Romantic Encounter, Vinrock, Bingy, High Vol, Decanted, Julio Ornos. They're all horses that want to push forward, and I think in this race they're going to want to get up there. So there's a real risk again of Vinrock getting caught wide here or having to push forward on a really strong speed. So I think there's a bit of a risk there. I quite like West of Swindon. He was 3 wide, no cover last out at Flemington against Vinrock. Stuck on well for second, only beaten a length and a half. He'll appreciate that step up to the mile. He's drawn barrier 1. And like I said, Vinrock's out in barrier 8 with a tricky map. 9 winners from 42 runners drawn barrier 1 to 3 in this race. And then 5 winners from 84 runners drawn barriers 4 plus. So sort of double the winners and half the runners drawn inside. I just think West of Swindon at sort of $4.80 is a really nice bet to turn the tables on Vinrock the way this race maps and profiles.
So that's a look at the feature 3-year-old event. So I just lost you there for a sec. So Vinrock, who were you tipping again, mate?
West of Swindon.
Beautiful,
West of Swindon
460.
there, just drawing the barrier 1 there with really nice run. while I think the rock maps really messily. So I think off the hot speed with the Swindon can turn the tables after that 3-wide no-cover run last start.
Let's have a look at the Golden Rose there tomorrow at Rosehill. Tempted's at $2.90. Autumn Boy $4.80. Woden at $5. Skyhook at $6, and then Biwak at $9. It's going to be a great race, mate. What are you looking at? Who do you like here in a Golden Rose?
Yeah, fantastic race here. I think the run to the Rose is always the key lead-up. Interesting having a filly, obviously Tempted as the favourite. Well, fillies haven't won in 19 runners in the last 14 years. The best we've had is In Secret, who's another Godolphin horse who ran a close second. May Sword ran third, also was favourite, but we haven't had a filly win. Godolphin have won the race 5 times, but it's usually the best horses in the race that win here. I'm still keen on the 2 we've spoken about all spring, Skyhook and Woden. I thought they were really good in the run to the Rose. Skyhook was sort of back on the fence, finished really strongly after being held up in the straight for third. Just matched really nicely here, I think, in the trail from McAvoy. Third behind sort of Baywalk and 60s will lead. And just gets a really good run, Skyhook. And then, Woden's been set for this. I think he's going really well. Again, he's sort of mapped a bit messily in the run to the Rose, got a long way back, ran home well for fourth. And I just think if Skyhook or Woden had got Tempted's run and they'd swapped, they could have done the same sort of thing. And I just think with the record of these colts being set for this race, I sort of think it's a 3-horse race at the end of the day, and Tempted's a quality filly, but I'm keen at the prices to again back Skyhook and Woden, and think one of those 2 colts can win what's a very, very strong Golden Rose.
Yeah, I'm loving the confidence there with Woden $5, Skyhook at $6. Autumn Boy, you think he's looking for a mile now?
I think he's looking for a mile, and also it's just, the run of the Rose is always a key lead up here. It's only been one winner in 14 years, come off a 1,400-metre run. He's also just inexperienced. There's only sort of been 3 runners who've had, less than 4 starts win this race. So I just think he's more of a Caulfield Guineas horse, Autumn Boy, and he just doesn't quite profile right for this race, even though he's a quality colt as well, which is why I'm sort of leaning more towards Skyhook and Woden for this race.
Well done with Apocalyptic there. You've nailed her twice in her first couple of runs back this prep, and Sepals and Miss Rubini were great for us last week with your segment there, Dino.
Yeah, we've had a few good winners. I think Apocalyptic was sort of $13 in the early markets for the Flight Stakes, and she'll go around, even money, I'd say, in that Flight Stakes, and looks very hard to beat. And Sepals and Mr. It would have been nice if Mr. Rubini had managed to nail it at a much bigger price, but we got that race right, and had a fair bit of luck so far this spring.
And what did you make of Private Harry last week? I need to ask you there because there's been a lot of controversy this week with the sacking of the jockey and Timmy Clark taking over after his down the field effort there in the shorts last Saturday.
Well, I think it was interesting. There was probably 3 high-profile horses that were all even money or 6-4. Private Harry, Vauban, and Vivid Sun, and they all were in these races that just had very, very strong early tempos. So, Private Harry was probably the slowest of them in the sense that it was only 3 lengths above standard for the first half, but he sort of knuckled early, had to be dug up, and then set out in that death seat. The Vauban race was run 9 lengths above standard with full count Felicia out in front, and again Vauban was just pushed forward in a ride that made absolutely no sense, but just pushed forward to sit outside on this really hot tempo again in the death seat. And then again we saw Vivid Sun, who's a very, very high quality filly. She could be a Group 1 filly. Again in that race it was run by Yum. They've run 10 lengths above standard. She sort of sat out there third, but out there sort of in that death seat again without any cover, and been busted as well. And so I just think it's a lesson for punters. You see online, a lot of people sort of bagging those runs and saying the horse is no good because they haven't won his favourite. But that death seat, they call it the death for a reason, in harness racing. It's just as hard in horse racing, particularly off a hot tempo. It's the hardest place to be when you're sitting there outside, getting no cover on a hot tempo. And I just think that's why you saw Private Harry, Vauban and Vivid Sun all, underperform because of the race shape. And I think all those 3 horses are really high quality horses, and I think people are going to a lot of people are going to drop off them, and they could all well come out their next start with the right race shape and win.
Yeah, that is a very interesting point you make. Hey, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll ask you about the Vauban competition. I want to get an update on your horse that you got to share in as well in Vauban. We'll get your thoughts on his chances heading towards a Caulfield Cup especially. But it's right on 10:57, quickly approaching 10:58. And we'll come back and we'll have a chat to Dean Evans. Plus, we've got a couple of special guests coming coming to join us, of course, here live at Benalla for Benalla Cup Day. This is Giddy Up from Benalla on this Friday morning.
Live across the SEN track and RSN networks. And broadcasting live on racing.com. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We're live here at Benalla for the Bet365 Benalla Gold Cup. It's great to have your company on racing.com. We're streaming live on the SEN app, our Facebook page and YouTube channel, or if you're listening to us, of course, on your local SEN track dial. The 42 stations right across country Victoria and also the metro area in Melbourne there on your local RSN dial, and also on the SEN app and the new RSN app. I highly recommend you download the new RSN app, which launched there yesterday. Dean Evans is with us from Winning Edge Investments. And Dino, we've got this Vauban competition, which is a great competition. You can go to either the Caulfield Cup or the Everest meeting. Those packages worth around $5,000, and you also get a chance to own a small share in Vauban for Caulfield Cup Day.
Yeah, 1% of the prize money Vauban earns for the day, which could be up to $25,000 in the Caulfield Cup. So, just got to pop onto sen.com.au/win and 25 words or less. So while you'd like the ultimate race day out, you'll get that fantastic couple of tickets to the Caulfield Cup or Everest worth $5,000, and plus a share in Vauban, who, I can say the stable think the horse is absolutely flying. They weren't too despondent about that run. He'll go to the Metropolitan next. I think, like I said, it was just a really poor ride, getting a sort of a 2-mile horse on the 2,000 metre race on a firm track out there in the death seat when they're running 9 lengths above standard. That's just not the horse's go. But I think the Chelmsford showed you how well he was going. He ran similar sectionals to Delius, and he beat Arapaho and Birdman home there. And I think you were seeing in the Metropolitan, the horse bounced straight back to how good we know he is, and then lead into a Caulfield Cup where he's still, we believe, a very, very strong chance. The horse is still flying.
All right, then that is good news, mate. We appreciate your work as always. We can go to Winning Edge Investments and get all of your work regarding sport and racing as well. And hopefully you can help us back a few winners across the weekend.
Fantastic. Cheers, Gareth. Enjoy the weekend.
Same to you, Dino. There's Dean Evans there from winningedgeinvestments.com. Tips, ratings and betting education for racing and sports.